Today, I would like to talk about desire. So, the emotion of desire. I think it's a very common emotion. It is completely normal. We have all been there in our lives. And today, I want to talk a bit more about desire in terms of how it impacts our life and the things, the goals, whatever we are trying to bring into our life from the place of desire may not be the most effective way if we look at it from the emotional scale perspective. And I will get into more details about that in this video. At its core, desire is an emotion of wanting someone or something. So desire can range from mild wanting to more obsessively wanting. There is definitely an element of lust or glamorization. So you are essentially putting whatever it is you are wanting on a pedestal, or basically it is outside of you. It is out of reach. And so you want that thing. It makes perfect sense, actually. Another element to desire, or the energy behind it, is I do not have. There is an inherent lack in the emotion of desire. The energy of desire is a denial of whatever it is we are trying to achieve or whatever we want in our life. Trying to achieve our goals from the emotion of desire makes things much more challenging. It is a lot harder. And Dr. David Hawkins explains that this approach is a lower consciousness approach to achieving our goals. So, not the most efficient way to go about getting what we want in life. If we look at Dr. David Hawkins' emotional scale, we see that desire is under the negative emotional range. Or another way to see it is that desire is in the group of emotions that are technically considered repelling. So we are going to essentially repel people, opportunities, and things. I know a lot of the time we don't think of desire as doing that because it just doesn't seem like a bad thing, which is so interesting. A lot of the times desire is encouraged in certain spiritual or self-development, even psychology books, if you will. In Letting Go, and even Dr. David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force, desire isn't considered a positive, life-affirming emotion. And he also explains that a lot of the times we think that we need to feel the emotion of desire to achieve our goals, but he explains that desire actually puts a barrier between us and our goals. He, I believe, says it is a psychic distance. That sounds weird. Like a psychic gap, essentially. Because there's an energy of not having, there is an energy of lack behind emotion. So, interesting stuff to keep in mind. A more effective solution or approach to achieving goals, or at least in terms of the mentality you have, the space that you the space that you choose to come from, far more empowering than desire. And that would be consciously choosing your goals. So consciously choosing your goals is so much more effective than desiring XYZ, whatever that may be for you. And you can think of the different areas of your life, from relationships to career to friendships, finances, anything else, breaking it down, looking into the areas of your life and figuring out, okay, where does desire show up for me? What am I desiring? And you'll know, because you'll just know, I desire this, I desire that, this is how I am feeling. And shifting your emotions from desire to consciously choosing, far more powerful, and consciously choosing falls under a higher state of consciousness approach to getting what you want, basically. I am now going to explain a higher consciousness approach to achieving your goals or getting whatever it is you want in life. Of course, this is very, very basic, and this is more of a guideline because, of course, when it comes to achieving your goals, the action you have to take, that's going to be unique to you and that's very personal. But this is an empowering mindset to consider and to adopt versus just feeling desire. So, first and foremost, you must surrender desire. Surrender the feeling of desire. Number 2, choose your goal. Consciously choose your goal. Your goal or goals. Get clear about whatever it is you want to create in the different areas of your life. 3, picture whatever it is you want lovingly. I would say that if you're not a visual person, that's okay. I would even say, as long as you're aligned with positive feelings, if you feel even peaceful and joyful about your goals, almost that will be incredibly powerful and possibly even more powerful than visualizing. If you're not a visual person, I think if you do both, visualize and embody those really positive emotions, even more powerful. Just something to know about. The 4th step is to allow it to happen because it is already ours. So already that last step is just, it's so reassuring. It feels so peaceful, and there's an element of generosity and an element of faith in there. If you resonate with feeling faith, then I really love step 4, because you believe it essentially, and you're already in a higher vibration, a higher emotional state, versus desire, which we know there is an inherent lack behind desire that isn't great, and really it's quite disempowering to us. I also quickly want to describe a lower state of consciousness versus a higher state of consciousness. In a lower state of consciousness, we see the universe as negative. We see it as denying. Essentially, it is like a bad, stingy parent where you want something, but your parent is just, nope, we can't have this, or you can't have this for whatever reason. It's a fairly easy concept to understand with like a stingy parent from a lower state of consciousness. In a higher state of consciousness, we see the universe as loving. We see the universe as generous. The universe is an unconditionally approving parent. A very different mindset to have, but it makes a huge difference in how we go about thinking about. That's confusing. It's a very different perspective. So one is clearly negative. It is clearly, there is a scarcity mindset element that isn't going to be helpful to us. And coming from a higher state of consciousness, it's full of opportunities, expansion, love, possibilities. It's so much more effective, and it will just make us feel better overall. And ultimately, our emotions play a huge factor. The moral of the story is to go from a place of desire to a place of consciously choosing. This is so much more powerful, and it will allow for you to achieve the things that you want to happen.